Next up, we have Super Eyepatch Wolf's Void Stranger, a game for lunatics. I have no idea what this is. But if Super Eyepatch Wolf, who has done some really crazy things, man, Riverdale or Riverwood, or whatever that entire giant pile of WTF was not what he called a thing for lunatics or a show for lunatics, I'm scared. Mostly because I've seen a previous video of his, and it's either super happy or you're going to regret life decisions. If he's already saying in the title it's a game for lunatics, I'm going with this is the life decisions will be missed step. Let's jump into it and make bad decisions together. Is that a door?
You stare into the void. How long have you been here? What is this place? Why is everything about it so punishing and cruel? Suddenly, the air around
Very
you
grey
freezes, and a grotesque drone begins to gurgle from your speakers.
What?
And within that wash of noise, you can hear something. Someone.
Nope. Okay, I have a line of things I can deal with. Not this week, but like game-wise, atmospheric horror like this, it gets me so badly that I would probably have a heart attack. Also, if this stream randomly cuts out because my wife comes in and notices I had a heart attack because this freaks me out, you know why in advance.
Crying? The edges of your screen crackle and morph, and as they do, some gigantic tentacled abomination pulls itself into frame and begins lurching towards you. Your mind spirals as the deeper mysteries of the void unleash themselves upon you.
It's inking everything.
What is this creature? Why is the reality around it erasing? And what exactly are you playing? In other words...
What the hell did we just look at? Void Stranger. Oh, okay, it's literally Cthulhu. How bothersome. Okay.
What is Void Stranger? Hello.
He's blonde now.
I am
Oh, and he has another new shirt for his merch of an anime that he will never actually make.
here to answer those questions, but also to say, fuck this game, fuck its magic wand swapping bullshit, fuck its infinite, endless floors, fuck its
It has infinite floors? Oh god, no.
obtuse Google Doc requiring storytelling and
Is like obtuse where it's well written, but there's a lot of it, or obtuse where it's not well written and there's a lot of it?
most of all, fuck these statues. Oh, don't you worry, we'll get to these. Fuck Void Stranger.
I'm glad to see he has a very rational and down-to-earth take on this game, because it makes it so much easier to understand that he has very few feelings about it. So it's going to be a very low-key video.
It's also one of the best games I've ever played.
Oh, so this is one of those games where it causes you absolute and literal hatred, and you put up with it because it's that good. Okay, that answered my question about the writing then. It is good writing that is obtuse.
And I love it.
Void Stranger released in September of 2023 from developer
Oh,
system
2 years
Airier.
old
What
now.
at first seems like a novel take on a niche genre gradually spirals out into an abyss. Void Stranger is the kind of game you emerge gasping from, desperate to talk to other people.
Okay, am I the only one looking at this and thinking old school handheld Zelda on the initial Game Boy? Because I'm looking at this and I recognize some of these patterns. Like, I just need a yeah animation right now. I'm thinking like old school black and white Zelda.
About and share these strange things you've encountered there, trading theories about what this world is and how it works. But the problem for a lot of people will be just getting to that point. Void Stranger can be obtuse and impenetrable and cruel, and with just over 2,000 Steam reviews, the community behind this game...
Very positive. There's only 2,000. A lot of games that are mostly picked up on have way more view count and reviews than that. So it's very good, though, for the few people who have played it.
game is tiny, and worse, unlike System Erasure's previous game Zero Ranger, an
Whoa.
immaculately designed shmup which boasts an
Shmup?
overwhelmingly positive
Oh, shoot 'em up. Okay, that makes more sense.
rating on Steam, Void Stranger holds a meager, very positive rating.
Is that
despite
bad?
being beloved by a niche fan base. And the reason for that can be found in a number of negative reviews, many of which read like this. If you like unforgivable puzzle games where a single mistake means replaying 5 hours worth of content or getting a bad ending, this might be for you.
Okay, completely honest, I'm not going to play this game because I understand this kind of content. It's not my thing. But I also realize there's going to be a subset of people who read this comment and go like, I must do this. Because that level of rage bait is something people actively look for.
If you like a game that doesn't introduce any of its mechanics to you but still punishes you for not understanding them, such as forcing you to replay the entire game, this game might be for you. Because Void Stranger is a game far too sadistic in its need to ensure you have unreasonable challenges, to ever let you get the upper hand, yet alone have fun.
I think he meant to write, let alone. Despite the wanker-esque vocal delivery I have inflicted on this review,
He put a filter over himself that's a little harder than usual and tonally changed his voice. I wonder why.
I don't actually think anything about it is that wrong. Void Stranger is a game full of mystery that refuses to hold your hand, instead leaving you stranded at the supermarket and forcing you to find your own way home. Dad? That leaves us with a problem.
Oh, God.
How much of this game do I reveal to you to make you give a shit? Well, I've really tried to make this video in a way that I think even if you watch every second of it, you're still going to want to check out System Erasure's game. But for the more spoiler-sensitive gamer, I have also divided this video into 4 floors, designed
Because it's looking like a reverse dungeon. Or a standard old school dungeon where you're just going down infinitely. I actually don't remember the name of the game, but I played one of these. It was an old mobile game taken from an even older PC game where you just had a basic level 1 adventurer. You fight things. You level up as you fight. You get armor and you beat things, and it doesn't really end. You just get monster. Here, swing attack. It seems like that style of game that could be played on a potato. Huh.
for you to get off at the one that stops corresponding to you. Please take special note of floor 4. That's right.
Floor 1. I wish to know the basics of Voice Stranger, what it is, and why I should care. Floor 2. I am intrigued, but have a large backlog and need to be convinced further. I mean, yes. Floor 3. This game seems like a journey of madness and lunacy. I am never going to play this, but I wish to understand what is so special about. Probably me, because I have no skill, and if it requires puzzle solving and problem solving, I have no ability to actually do that because I'm an idiot. Also, Luna to Moon, thank you very much. Have you seen Starlight Brigade official video? I don't know what that is, so I'm going to go with no on this one. Is that a game or a music video? I don't know. And floor 4. Yoink. I'm going to be real with you, dude. I never actually take any of your recommendations. I don't care about spoilers, but please keep talking. Because after years of watching your channel, I now crave the parasocial serotonin to the point where I use your videos to fall asleep. That's all I'm really here for. I don't think anyone who falls asleep to Super Eyepatch Wolf has a positive relationship with serotonin, let's put it that way. Because his videos usually go, is this good? Neat. Is this the majority of his videos? Depression. That's about it. If they're good, and they are usually kind of horrible in the sense that you're going to feel like worlds are going to collide with your face to remind you, hey, fuck you, in the most enjoyable way possible. Yeah, it's like people who fall asleep to random crash sound effects. I fear these people.
Right. I know that's how some of you watch my videos.
But first,
People actually do that,
hello,
though?
viewer. You can tell this is serious because there's no music playing.
My God.
A year ago, I made a video essay called The Bizarre World of Fake Video Games, and I really loved making that video.
If this is a lead into him finally actually making an anime or video game about his content, oh, I hope it's the case.
But you can imagine my shock when the publisher of Vermis, HoloPress, reached out to me and asked if I wanted to create an entire book about fake video games.
Okay, this works. I don't even care what it's about. I'm going to do this because the books for that, I found out they were really a bitch to get. I looked into it. There's like PDF printout style. And I'm going to have to check this out.
A year later, that is exactly what we did. A high-quality hardcover book.
Shut up and take my money.
Filled with reviews, previews, and retrospectives on games that never existed. I scoured the internet looking for the most insane and beautiful fake video games.
So he didn't even make it up. He actually found real fake games and documented them. Oh God, I need this.
Games I could find.
I actually need
with
this.
The artists who created them, as well as our graphic designer Marco, who is just one of the most inhumanly talented people I've ever met. I am so proud of what we made, and you can pre-order it today. The book is the first in a new HoloPress series called the UDWFG Essays, and will be available in 2 versions, a regular edition and a special collector's edition, which will include an A4 print signed by me, as well as plastic.
Okay, I'm going to be completely American on this one. What's an A4? I don't actually know, and it's kind of bugging me. Like a cardboard or something? Yeah.
The creator of Vermis, who by some miracle we got to do the cover for this book.
Also, if that's actually what the book cover looks like, oh, that is beautiful. Hollow Point, yeah. That's really nice.
And as an added bonus for both versions, we'll be including a special holographic sticker sheet for the first 1,000 pre-orders.
Stickers?
The book is scheduled to release at the end of October, and
a standard-sized paper sheet. Oh,
the Luca
really?
Comics and Games Festival to celebrate its launch. Shipments will be taking place in late November, but pre-orders are open today for a very limited time. Link is in the description. I hope it's
1 minute, please. I need to check something. Oh, it just... Okay, where's that link? Here's the book. Oh, that doesn't look bad at all. Here we go. Yeah, I'm just going to save this for later. That's $39. That's not bad. Oh, it's euros. I have no idea if that's higher or lower. Okay, note to self, do that later.
It's obvious at this point, but I don't sell shit on this channel that I don't really believe in, and I am...
Although we would really love if you start selling shit that you made the freaking game and anime for already. If you haven't seen his previous ad spots where he does entire storylines around his characters. And then it's like, oh, by the way, I'm not going to actually make a game of this. I'm not going to make a anime about this or anything. It bugs me because he's doing the fake game thing. So his stuff will probably be in the book. Oh, $1 is like 1.2 euros, so it's going to be higher for me. Well, that's not too bad either way. I think maybe next month, but I can swing it.
So proud of this book and everyone who worked on it. And I hope you enjoy it too. Okay. Thank you.
Floor 1. Why should I care?
Upon booting up Void Stranger, you'll be asked to input your brand. What does this mean? Shut up! Don't worry about it. That's none of your business.
What?
You're shown a cutscene of a woman crossing a vast desert with a determined look on her face, before she stops at a strange, cubular abyss. This is the Void. After she dives in, you take control of the woman, and if you've ever played a top-down Legend of Zelda game, the
Yeah, I'm not the only one thinking it then. Good to know.
4 directional controls will feel familiar, even cozy. There's nothing of note in this first room besides this, strange 6x6 engraving, which, shut up, don't worry about it, that's none of your business. You proceed down the stairs and are met with a large statuesque, statue. I need to stop writing these at night. Wearing a necklace, in front of which lies a chest. And at the other end of the room,
let's just say, yes, that is a very large chest that you could open.
a stairs, which you can now safely take as your goal. However, this time a chasm separates you and it. With no way to cross it, your only option is to go for the chest, which triggers a cutscene showing that you have acquired a strange rod and that something is wrong. Back in control now, and indeed,
The statue's gone.
does feel wrong. Whereas a moment ago, you were able to move freely, now pressing any direction snaps you to the corresponding tile.
Oh. So they went from more advanced controls to what looks more like actual gameplay mechanics.
And it feels weird, but more troubling is you still have no way to cross the gap. And so, with all the grace of an idiot dog trying to start Angry Birds on an iPhone, you paw at the controls until... Oh, you
Also, yeah, Basement 002. Boo.
just hit the action button, and when you
Floor 8
did,
man.
one of the tiles disappeared. And if you hit
Oh.
it again, you will place the tile back down.
Oh.
You've acquired the ability to pick up and put down a single tile. Using your newfound ability, you build a little bridge.
What
to
happens if you
cross
drop the
chasm.
box?
You have just solved Void Stranger's first puzzle, and in doing so, discovered what kind of game this is. Void Stranger is a game about swapping tiles.
Huh. Is that the only ability you get, or does it change as you move on later?
There is undoubtedly a portion of you right now bellowing, Eyepatch Wolf, I ain't here for no block pushing simulator. I'm here to play video games, not video chains. And I get it.
What?
With the sole exception of Hideki Kamiya's Goof Troop, I have zero interest in the Sokoban or Warehouse Keeper subgenre. I like
Wait, that's an entire genre of game? Just moving tiles? You know, I consider myself at least very versed in the games I'm never going to get around to playing. I was never even aware that that was an entire franchise or stylization of gaming. Huh.
like you, I'm a red-blooded gamer. I like my beers cold, my
Wait, what did he say over here? I do not actually like beer. Please do not buy me a beer if you see me in real life. If you do, I will be too polite to refuse it and then spend the next 50 minutes forcing myself to drink it as my stomach fills with gas. I saying things like, you can really taste the hops, wishing more than anything I did not have to drink this beer. His statement is merely intended to show how normal I am, which is very... Have you ever heard of the Streisand effect? There is going to be a subset of his community who will explicitly read this and now buy him a beer. So either horrible mistake on his part, or this is the most ingenious reverse psychology attempt I have ever seen. Well played, Super Eyepatch Wolf. Well played.
my skies are blue, my guns are shooting, and if someone's gonna speak language in a video game, by God, it had better be American.
America!
However, what you don't know at this point is how little you know. Whatever assumptions you have about this game, burn them, because there is an abyss of joy and madness that lies beyond.
Ew.
And that insanity has actually already started in this very puzzle. In other words, if you're concerned that I went over that original puzzle in unnecessary, even perverse detail, I got some bad news for you.
What happens if you try and remove the puzzle where you have the stairs in it? Seems like there should be stuff there. First puzzle.
What you need to understand when you enter this first puzzle is that you are a tiny dumb baby. You
Yes.
do not know what this game is, its genre, or mechanics, but over the course of the 20-ish seconds it might take someone to solve it, you now come to understand the central mechanic of the entire game. But what's interesting is how it gets you there. After you get the rod, nothing about how to use it is explained, and that lack of information traps you in this moment of slight anxiety, because under your current understanding of what this game is, there is no path forward, and so the
Oh. Because most games want to give people an extensive tutorial, I'm looking at you, Withering Waves, where they tell you every little new mechanic you have and you're never allowed to figure it out. This one is giving you anxiety intentionally by giving you a very simple, easy to understand mechanic on its face, but not telling you about it, which makes it seem like something went wrong. That's kind of brilliant, and I wish other games would take the step of allowing you to be confused. Except most games realize people have the attention span and puzzle-solving memory of a dead fish. If a 5-year-old could figure it out, it's probably too difficult for most games. That's not a joke either. That is actually how you have to design most games in fantasy settings, sci-fi settings, and just settings in general. If you're giving someone a puzzle, make sure a 5-year-old is not going to be the highlight of it. Because if a 5-year-old is going to be able to figure it out, that might still be too complicated. Again, this is something you run into when you're playing any game where you're running as a dungeon master in an RPG. Your puzzle is going to be too hard. If it's easy to figure out, it's still too hard. This is a game for the people who want to get through that and figure it out anyways. So I can see why there was the rage reviews. Kind of looking into it over there though, because I kind of like this.
Solution has to lie outside that understanding. And so you flail, you experiment, you try things, leading to the discovery that you can pick up tiles and then the satisfaction of using that knowledge to build a bridge.
And I'm assuming there might be an entire separate intro here where if you do something other than go down the stairs, because it seems like that kind of game.
But it feels awesome.
But
imagine how different this puzzle would feel if instead the game just displayed tutorial text telling you what to do. Even though mechanically we're performing the exact same actions, pressing the same buttons, the difference is what's happening inside us, because now that anxiety, that discovery, that satisfaction of putting it all together, we don't feel any of that because we haven't solved anything. All we've really done is what the game told us. We are still a tiny, weak baby, just a baby who follows orders. And we all know who follows orders, right? But by not doing...
I have no idea who he is referring to there. But would you kindly keep watching the video?
Doing this, we are given no choice but to make those connections ourselves. We had to learn, we had to grow. No longer a tiny weak baby, but a big strong adult. So yeah, this is a game about swapping tiles, but it's really about being placed in scenarios where there is no obvious answer, meaning you have to reach beyond what you currently understand the game to be and towards realizations that transform your understanding of this world. And
I would say that there is one failing of this style of gameplay. Unless you have someone vouch that, yeah, no, it's actually well made, there's always the thought in the back of your head going, okay, is this a puzzle that I haven't figured out the answer to? Or is this a pile of shit where they forgot to make an answer? Usually the first one's more applicable, but a lot of the times, game broken, shit's broken, someone didn't do their job, is not always the wrong answer. So if it's a new game with low reviews, is it low reviews because they didn't pay for more bot reviews that are nice? And honestly, only having it very positive leans more towards, oh no, these might be real reviews. But when you get a game without a lot of viewership that only has a very steady amount, and there's a lot of games that are just shit. They could be broken, especially if they're an alpha or they're not very well known. It's actually, if I reached this point and I wasn't certain the game was real, I might think I just got scammed and leave it at that.
How you move through it. This simple puzzle being the tiniest, most condensed version of that idea.
Probably more in that room you just haven't experienced.
You ain't seen nothing yet. Now, a little word from our sponsor, me.
Frog. Breathing frog.
Ah, the frog. Noble, elegant, wise, the thinking man's dog. The new Eyepatch Wolves Frog Tea.
The one he's wearing.
Speederoo. Available now from eyepatchwolves.com.
It looks good. All his stuff looks good. Hey, blue collar, something, man.
It might not feel like it yet, but what's happened here is you have started to build a rule set for what Void Stranger's world is and how to navigate it. And from here, each floor is like adding another page to that rule set through discoveries that sometimes seem minor, like the fact that boulders can be pushed around the map, or that most floors have an optional treasure chest that always contains a locust for some f***ing reason, but others feel...
Why a locust?
They'll
probably come up later.
Take floor
Snake?
11. Floor 11 is unusual. Upon entering it, you'll notice it contains something you've never seen before.
An enemy.
An enemy, and specifically a leech. But strangely, because of how the floor is laid out, divided into 2 separate corridors, the leech can't reach you, and you can't reach it. This is not where the strangeness ends. Take a step forward, and so too does the leech. Stay still, and so too does the leech. Keep moving, and the enemy will move every time you do, traveling from left to right and turning around once it hits the wall. And I want you to ask yourself, what do you think is being communicated to the player here? Well, believe it or not, 2 things. One is the movement pattern of the leech enemy, something that we can experience safely and without risk of punishment due to...
Oh, so it's actually giving you a tutorial without telling you it's a tutorial. That's actually kind of fascinating. Because this game I thought would be more rage-inducing, where you don't know until it kills you and then you find out later. But they are actually going out of their way to give you examples if you're paying attention.
The floor's layout, so that when we continue down to the next floor and are tasked with navigating our way around 2 leech enemies, despite the increased danger, we already have all the knowledge we need to do that because we know how the leech moves from the previous floor.
And you can probably force it to walk into a
piece
problem.
Of knowledge we can acquire on floor 11 is far more significant, and something that's going to affect every step forward down the void from here. The fact that time only moves forward when you do. Every step you take in Void Stranger takes time 1 unit forward.
Which is also why you're now moving individual blocks rather than seamlessly moving through them, because it's more time travel than anything. Okay.
Meaning it's only when you move that enemies will. And
which means you also
this
have time
is
to
big.
react.
Because we have no way to destroy most enemies, understanding not just an enemy's movement pattern, but the fact that we control when they move and thus can endlessly plan a route around them, this becomes our greatest weapon against the creatures of the void. And that is all a massive amount of information to be imparted in the maybe 12 seconds it takes to complete floor 11.
Huh. So this is actually a very well thought out game. Normally I would not want to do something this angry, but I kind of like the style of slow, methodical planning. Fast twitch reactions are not my thing. I cannot do them. I love games that involve them. I just suck at them. But if I can take my time to plan out what's going to happen, I might actually play this.
This is one of the reasons Void Stranger is so difficult to put down. It's like you're constantly being fed a stream of information about this world and how it works. Each little fragment of knowledge being a slight increase in your capacity to navigate the void. And it is addictive. It's like leveling up, but the stat increasing is your brain. The result feels nearly like a...
Oddly enough, this feels more like someone was making a brain teaser app and realized they can make a really nice game with it. And for that reason alone, it's actually going to be something I'm going to say that may or may not be controversial, is probably a healthy game to play because it teases your mind to think in ways you're not prepared for, which is actually really good for just mind elasticity or plasticity of thought, which does actually fade as you age because the way you think kind of gets calcified. This might actually be a good way to challenge that.
A conversation between you and the game, like this unspoken stream of information back and forth as the problems you face on each floor grow gradually more complex.
But you always have the time to think about it because you always stop and plan out your next move, so it never gets too hard, and you'll never be immediately dead. Unless there is an immediately dead section. Ooh, also, Zero, you mentioned, like, troll level in Mario Maker. I have only seen Mario Maker made by absolute psychopaths. So I'm assuming there's roles where you can actually beat them as opposed to you're going to die, and unless you're mechanically perfect, it's never going to be beaten.
The game sometimes taking 2 mechanically simple enemies and combining them for a much greater challenge, before later taking those same enemies and using them as threads in these massive tapestries of cause and effects that you will break your brain trying to solve. But you can do it, not only because you have infinite time to analyze these puzzles, but because the game has shown you each individual piece and how they work. Meaning the real challenge is your capacity not just to hear that information, but understand it.
I mean, I'm very good at understanding information that I then immediately forget.
Once you realize how the game is constantly communicating with you and how every little part of it seems to carry meaning and purpose, you start to question everything. What exactly are those square engravings at the beginning of each zone?
We were told to enter a code. I wonder if our code matched that something would happen.
Why does the game seem to occasionally skip a numbered floor? Why do I have only 7 hit points when each monster hits for 999 damage? What are those smiling...
They all do how much? Goddamn. Also, there's a smile here?
statues and what?
I'll be honest, I didn't realize that was a statue. I thought that was a pile of poo. Yeah, that's what I thought they were.
What are those four-eyed statues, and why do I
That
get
was a
such
statue?
an awful...
I didn't realize that was a statue. I thought that was just the wall texture. This is the problem I have with this style of game. It's very easy to misinterpret what you're looking at. Which it sounds like this is the kind of game that will intentionally play with that problem.
feeling from them. And who is this?
Okay, yeah, I might need to play this game.
Large snake lady. I know what some of you want me to do, and I'm not doing it. In fact, I don't even know what it is.
I have no idea what he is referencing to. This game just has a lot of chests that you could find that have locusts in them.
Before long, you'll find yourself wondering about everything in Void Stranger, and as you do, the larger mysteries of the Void creep tantalizingly into focus. Like, what exactly even is the Void, and who are you playing as? Answers to these questions will not come easy, but over your first hour with the game, one of two things will happen. And the first is, you will run out of locusts. Anytime you fall into the void or are touched by an enemy, the room will reset and your locust count will be reduced by 1. And when that count reaches 0, you effectively game over, triggering a cutscene with a little spherical person who tells you you are dead and now lost in the void forever. But you're given two options. Either give up, which sends you back to the start of the game, or continue. If you choose...
Why would you choose to give up then? I'm assuming continue comes with a lot of bad shit.
Choose to continue, you're offered a fruit of the void and told by eating it, you can become part of this realm. Choosing to eat the fruit brings you back to the room you died in, but now your HP count is replaced by a single word.
Void.
Void. And what's more, despite the fact that you can still collect locusts, falling or being hit by an enemy no longer costs you one, meaning you are now functionally immortal and free to explore the void without penalty.
Oh. So I'm assuming that choosing to become the void is a good way to learn the game, where choosing to give up is basically playing on hard mode where you make it through without dying.
I will not at present explain the implications of
And there's probably
any
lore
of
reasons
this,
behind it.
but I encourage you to make your own
Also, those
assumptions. And later,
meatballs have
we
mouths.
shall test those assumptions. The death cutscene is going to be most people's first glimpse into Void Stranger's story, but this
They've made this thing adorable. Like, just the big beady eyes on the body with the horns. And like, it's slightly sinister, but at the same time, they made it adorable enough that it's like, oh, cute animal mascot. And if I've learned one thing, it's that this little cubie is definitely trustworthy. I'm sure nothing bad will happen.
second comes when the player hits the first tree room. A tree room occurs every 28 floors, and they are unusual. Approach the tree and you'll be given the option to rest, and if you do so, your game shuts down.
Oh,
booting
literally
back
let
to your
you
desktop.
rest.
That's unusual, right?
Hello, John. You're quite good at turning me on.
Like, that's unusual.
Oh my.
Right? Stranger still, boot the game back up and you'll find yourself in what looks like an old castle.
With people and the stereotypical nerd animation. Oh wow.
A group of guards cowering on the floor. Controls have now reverted back to the free directional movement they were at the start of the game, And if you enter the inner chamber, you'll have to throw open the curtains before approaching the bed and... Wait, what? There's turn-based combat in this game?
Princess Wrath looms upon you because you woke her up.
You face down a nightmarish creature called the Princess's Wrath.
I mean, as someone who knows better than to wake up their wife, this doesn't seem like a joke. This seems like life advice.
As it hurls insults at
She's in the other room, and she didn't say anything to disagree with me about that.
you, while you choose when to defend and when to launch your own insults in return. It's not a complex
And you're also wearing robes yourself, along with the same necklace as the statue from earlier.
system, but it is tense and you can lose. And while it serves as a shock to what you thought this game was, its real appeal is in what it tells you about these characters. After defeating or
It only did 1 damage to you, though.
being defeated by this creature, it will actually be revealed to be a small princess. This is Princess Lily. And you
Yes. This makes perfect sense. If you try and wake up a small, cute little girl in a bed, she will try and murder you. This is not a thing in the game. This is completely accurate to real life. Nothing to say there. Just, it's accurate.
You are her lady in waiting, Grey. You can tell from the cowering guards outside the room that the princess is a lot, but Grey is the only one who can deal with this nightmare child and withstand her verbal lashings. Even able to convince this tiny abomination to do normal people things like bathe and not attack other humans. The switch up in format to a turn-based battle shows there's friction between the two, but the conversation that follows shows something else. Warmth. Grey's been away for some unknown reason, and despite the princess's verbal tirade, she seems very happy to have Grey back. And
Is this a hallucination on her end, or is this actually happening? I don't actually know, and I'm getting the impression this might not be real because of the entire rest aspect.
even suggests that the two should run away together. Grey too clearly feels a lot for the princess, but acknowledges that regardless of whatever she may want personally, they both have a greater responsibility
Is she the statue you see at the beginning of the game?
to the kingdom. It's compelling, and from here, every 28 floors you'll hit another tree room and be given another fragment of Lily and Grey's story.
So it's resting as in dream. Kind of asshole, so they make you reopen the game to do it, but okay. Unless it's actually giving you a break as well, which is not so bad. And then you come back to new lore when you replay it. Maybe that's actually the thought process behind it on the design side.
As you journey even further down the void, these cutscenes become your motivation, a testament not only to how well Void Stranger's story is told, but also how well it's presented.
I'm going to be honest, what I'm really curious about right now is if it's an achievement to play without getting any of the story and just never resting, or if that's more or less an aspect you keep in there so that you could speedrun the game later on.
Stranger is an oddly beautiful game, and I feel like if you're just staring at a screenshot of it, that's not going to be immediately obvious.
I'll be honest, I probably would have played it based on this because the entire turn aspect is kind of what I like out of games. I like this kind of style, so I'm kind of the person who's into this thing.
Void Stranger looks like a Game Boy game, and everything from
Yes!
its desaturated color palette to its hyper-limited pixel count makes it feel that way. But I think this is the only way a game like Void Stranger could exist.
Yeah, if you tried to make this more, how to put it, detailed, then you run into the, okay, it's going to snap to this area, and you're looking in the wrong place to snap to the wrong one. It would never really work like this unless you really adjust how it looks. It would need to be pixelated. You could have higher detail pixels, but it would still need to be this top-down square-based. Arknights would have to be the style if you want to get super detailed, and anything more than that would become very difficult.
A look at some of the programs used to create this game and was
Mutate?
surprised to see how
Randomize?
simple they often were, like sound effects created through
sound,
a
okay.
free randomized online synthesizer with each little parameter
Really? They used an online free synthesizer for the voice effects, or just the audio effects? That's actually kind of fun that they use something so affordable.
adjustable. In fact, every program used was either free or nearly free, and I think that's awesome.
Hey, Audacity. It's good.
because like
Game
a
maker.
thumbprint pressed into a clay figure, you can feel the marks of its creators. Void Stranger's look, as well as the programs used to make it, reveal what Void Stranger is. A personal game made by a tiny team. Just 2 people, and with
This was only 2 people making this game. 2 Finnish guys. This looks like the lead into a joke, man. I think I need to play this game.
I'm guessing intensely
I was not expecting
limited
that.
resources. And yeah, who still found a way to shape their world through pixels and monochrome. And not to be too wankery here, but I find that alone kind of intensely beautiful.
I do as well, but I think for me that's mostly just nostalgia bait. I'm not sure if that would hold true for someone who hadn't lived in Game Boy Color being a brand new phenomena. So maybe that's just me. But I do get that.
Beyond that though, the visuals themselves show so much skill and passion. The character portraits feel alive, expressive, and emotional, giving clear windows into what their characters are feeling at any given moment in the story.
And they're made so much larger, so you actually get to have the detail the smaller models don't usually show.
Each scene loaded with little aesthetic touches that create a sense of place and atmosphere, like light spilling into a dark room as you fling open the drapes, or the gentle bounce and swaying curtains of a traveling carriage.
Again, I've mentioned earlier that sometimes the details get lost with this level of pixelization. If he hadn't told me that was a carriage, I don't know what I'm looking at. Huh.
And I feel like the older I get, the less I'm affected by accurate light ray simulation or advanced particle effects. But
I am still affected by that, but not in gameplay, oddly enough. I'm affected by it in exploration. If exploration has beautiful visuals, I will actually be fine with a lot less happening in it than if there's a super combat heavy one. It's like, no, I don't care as much. Because if I'm focusing on action, I'm not going to focus on detail. But if there's slow plotting movement where you're just like exploring the world, hyper realistic visuals like this are I kind of like because I have the time to appreciate them more.
show me a scene of a little pixel person staring out a window into darkness as perfectly square snowflakes drift gently in the foreground, and something in my brain just says, a person made this. A person somewhere who is trying to communicate something to me, and just that hits. Void Stranger's soundtrack feels the exact same way. This collection of crunchy, compressed chip music scrounged together from randomized samples and synthesizers, but assembled with a personality and vision that results in some genuine-ass bangers that can keep even the most frustrating floors alive and exciting, but also underscore the game's most somber story moments with melodies of real drama and pathos.
I need to play this game. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I need to play this. I'm going to have to do
the
it.
Same bespoke, handcrafted, personal feel as the visuals. The combination of both the visuals and the sound meld into this utterly unique atmosphere, resulting in some intensely impactful scenes, like a section where Gray teaches Lily to dance, which once again transforms the format of Void Stranger into becoming a rhythm game, as the two sway in each other's arms,
Ooh, yeah, I'm going to fuck this part up. I have no rhythm.
shadows encroaching on either side. And it's such a
It's also the wrong shadow, too.
gorgeous moment, alive with an atmosphere and identity unique to Void Stranger, but tragic because of its place in the larger story.
You know what? Normally I cut a video because it's like, okay, I've seen enough. I want to move on to the next one. We can come back later. Right now I'm cutting it because I kind of need to play this game. And I don't want to know the spoiler. I want to find out more. This has been telling me everything I need to know to realize if this is a game for lunatics, well, I never thought I had sanity, so I'm probably the right person for this. I was not expecting to go into this as like, okay, Super Eyepatch Wolf is covering video games. What horrible, melancholic, terrifying depravity are we getting into today? That's usually not followed by, I need to engage with this. But I need to engage with this, and I'm kind of okay with it. Yeah. Basically, what I'm saying is if you haven't already, there's a link below to the original video. Hit it up. This is beautiful. And I'm going to go check out the rest. So do that, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.